That's good stuff. Alright, let's give this a try. Ba ba na 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 na. Na 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 na. Na 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 na. Well, it keeps. Good job, me. Alright. Are you actually streaming? Stop virtual. Oh. Interesting. Wrong one. There we go. That would be me being stupid. There we go. Offline, huh? Yeah, let's watch now. We're gonna share that. I'm gonna mute myself because that's fucking annoying. Yeah, there we go. Copy URL. And I think I've got this chat down right. Oh, nope, I fucked it up. There we go. It's like, where are you? Pop out chat. Hell yeah. Alright, now we got it. We fucking got it. I'm just gonna share that with the few people that like to watch me stream. Come watch me write demons for my game. Boop. Now we're gonna just go everywhere with that. I want to know what that Catboys shirt says. Oh shit. I don't think that's content I need on my stream. Pop. There you go. Decided to stream. I wonder who's winning my poll. So I had a totally formal and extremely black tie poll where I decided to put Ritra, the Icy Icy Dragon Boy, over Shambara, the Bill Cipher ripoff. And for some reason, this adorable slash hot like dragon guy is winning over the like geometric purity of my dry, grotesque desert god. I don't know. Somehow this guy is pulling ahead. It doesn't make any sense to me, but whatever. You know, I don't understand these things. I am but a man, but a dragon man, or maybe I'm just a dragon, but still I am trying. No, I'm just kidding. Okay, so what are we doing now? What did we get done from last time? I'm not gonna waste too much of your time here. So we got the supreme powers done. So let's see here. Ooh, that's not good. There's master. There it is, supreme. Okay, so we got the master level things done, and we got the supreme ones done, and we got the beginning of the ultimate done. Now we just have to fill out Yamato no Orochi's stats, and then he is actually done, and then he's going on the Patreon. And after that, I guess I'm doing a Frosty Dragon Boy. So that's what we're doing right now. Where did we leave off last time? Was anybody even here? I had like 4 viewers, so no, nobody was here. Okay, so long story short, with this, the 3 master level techniques, we'd already done the venom earlier, the bone corrupting venom. So that had the really cool power of dispersing through water, and I think, let me see, I did something else with this that made it really nasty. Oh yeah, it couldn't be cured. That was the other thing. If you hit somebody with it, then they were pretty much just screwed. Aspect of the Hydra Enlightenment we worked on for a while. I think that's where we left off, was Aspect of the Hydra Enlightenment, where it's basically it's a shield and it's a defense that makes you really hard to hit. But if you let them hit you, you can force them to dispatch one of your arms or your head, and then 2 more limbs or 2 heads and super long snake necks grow out of it, and you can beat their ass with it. And you can sacrifice the shield to make it attack, and you can do that per round. So it's pretty mean. Once you've got this up, once you spend those 40 prana, you get considerably meaner. Now, the way shields work in this game is if they hit you and you defend with your shield and their attack is over your shield, the shield pops and you lose access to it. You have to reactivate it to get it again. But if you don't, if you're like, nah, I don't want to block that, then the shield stays on, but you take the full damage. You have to block with something else. So that's kind of interesting to me. It means that, like, there's not really a point where you want to let, like, okay, so with the shield, they know what your defense is. Like, that's transparent, right? So they know that if they hit you or attack you with a weak attack, that it's not going to get through. And they further will learn very quickly, unless they're stupid, that if they do that and they choose to commit to it, despite the fact you could easily make that not happen for them, you can just tank that and it winds up being much worse for them because you just take a little hit and then you grow more limbs and beat their ass with them. So that kind of sucks for them. So they're very rapidly going to figure out that strategy. So the only ones they'll send your way most likely are very powerful attacks that can break the shield. And you have to make the decision to tank that attack to get the extra arms or legs. So that limits the offensive utility of this power, but it doesn't completely take it away. It just changes the paradigm pretty considerably. I do think that it's a little bit binary for my taste. I would prefer if there was some other way to, like some third option where it wasn't super clear that you could just completely tank their thing or allow it through. But that's because of the way shields work and the fact that I can't think of a clever third option, then that's just the way this one works, and that's all fine. So the next one I made after that was Sin Genesis Propaganda. So this one was in an awkward place too, because I had a really good idea of what I wanted to do with the supreme level technique. Like, Oligarch of Vice Anointment, which I'll get to in a minute, I knew what I wanted to do with this. I wanted to anoint princes of sin and have them rule over an empire of decadence. So that was really clear about what this was going to do. And I know that to some extent, these all do this. All of the social charms are, they give you a hard action, and it lets you mess with people. It makes the addiction spiritual balance. At the core of them, they all do that. But if you use these as a heart action, you can also achieve very high levels of heart, right? And if you go to the heart effect chart, the higher levels let you do really weird stuff. Like the really high levels let you program a culture, and this is on page 23 of your Lone Wolf Fist book. So one of the things that does is it sets cultural rules that can't be interfered with a lower ranked hard action. So you're like, okay, generally the process of culture, within the boundaries of the rules in the setting, is that it arises naturally like it does in our world, where like certain things that benefit the culture and allow it to thrive get kind of like, become like, set within the culture itself. They become its norms and values. But if you program a culture, it's a very top-down thing. You are persuasive enough that you make a new cultural norm. And you don't only make it, you kind of make it such as that it self-reinforces and other people can't interfere with it. So no one else can just be like really influential. So like, think of yourself like almost like the censors, like let's say you've got like an Elvis Presley and he's doing his hip thrusts in your culture and you don't like that kind of thing. You're all like super buttoned down. This is the opposite of what I actually wrote here. But bear with me here. So you just make it so that the whole culture kind of like turns a nose up at that sort of thing, even though it's really persuasive and radical to be Elvis Presley. They just censor all of that. So that's like the cultural norm. And you have programmed it into the culture such as that Elvis will never be able to introduce rock and roll to your culture. I just reinvented the plot of Footloose, but it was with an evil sin magic. Anyway, so you can do that. You can program cultures with this. And I wanted this to be a little more comprehensive. There's a certain level of vagary that happens at this level of operation. When you're talking about setting and programming cultural norms for vast amounts of people, like, you don't have as much fidelity with that as like a GM or with a player or with individual NPCs. There's a moth in here. Look at that guy go. Hey buddy, you wanna go outside? If I open this, are you gonna fly out or are you just gonna flutter around like an idiot? What are you gonna do? Oh, he got out. Yes, success. Enjoy the outside autumn, my little friend. Anyway, so this live rescue of a moth right here on my stream. All right, so because you don't have that fidelity, it gives you a little bit of wiggle room. So I made it so that whatever they were addicted to as a culture, they could offer you. They just had the capacity to just kind of like offer it once per scene. And I don't care about the details of how they get it. I think it's just sort of assumed that their culture, since it's addicted to it, is able to get a steady supply. So that's kind of neat. I might add another line somewhere in all of this where if a addicted populace loses access to their supply, that counts as a catastrophe. Because again, the core rules have rules for like, what if something explodes in the middle of the town? What happens? Well, because I don't want to track individual wounds or hundreds or thousands of NPCs, you just do the catastrophe rules and you do it in like a couple of seconds. So that's a really useful thing to be able to reference, because it's like, okay, well, this counts as a catastrophe of this level if this happens. That's really nifty. I'm a big fan of that. Soul corrupting venom, of course, basically poisons an entire tract with deadly clouds of gas, so that's rad. I sort of touched on Oligarch of Vice and Ointment. It lets you do personality case. That's another thing in the core book. A personality case is like not exactly an aristocracy, but almost like an aristocracy of personality archetypes, you know? So it's not just like that. You like imagine like the cast of Doom, where you have like Baron Harkonnen and, you know, Phaedrotha and all those guys, but like it's like if you killed all of them within a generation, there would be another Baron Harkonnen. It wouldn't be Baron Harkonnen, but it would be the exact same kind of dude, some huge fat dude that was like a tactical genius and an utter degenerate, right? And so the society remakes these NPCs for you. So even if their names and faces change, their game stats don't. So you get another one if they die. And these are the people that are in charge of the society. So I really like that. And this is, I think, the very first power that directly talks about that rule. Let's see. Yeah, so they're regarded as like sinful royalty, and their hard actions can create or add aggravation towards addiction imbalances. So they get the power to take their addictions and use them against others to get them addicted to the thing they're addicted to. So I really like that. I like that it kind of gives them this superpower, and you can do that to more or less whomever you want. And not only that, but they kind of can't get effectively assassinated, because if one dies, the society just elevates the next nearest person and gets them the resources that they need to be that person. So that's really fun. This is a good way of keeping things exactly as you want them, and it makes it really hard to like get rid of this particular Ashura. 8 Poisoned Rivers. This is the turn into landscape power. So it and I might add a little more depth to this, but it makes the what is it? There's an evil clan in Legends of the Woolen that have a really cool pagoda in the middle of a poisoned swamp, and I forget what they're called. What are those guys? They're in here somewhere. Let me look real quick, because that is the throne. That's like the core of your selfhood once you get this, and then you have 8 rivers that snake out from it, and they're all like poisoned and soporific and can mess with people. So that's a lot of fun. I forget what they're called. The Yun Clan, the 4 great societies, the beggar fraternity, falling leaves society. I'm having a lot of fun with this. The 100 Ghost faction, Bloodwind cult, also badasses. The Infernal Alliance. Here we go. Black Lotus Society. Okay, beautiful. Let's see. I stole all of these. Here we go. No. Do. Da. Dark Buddha and the 4 Heavenly Kings. There should be some place. I forget exactly where it is. The Black Lotus Pills. Oh my god, this is awesome. I'm just going to read this quietly to myself while you guys get bored. Okay, well, anyway, that's them, the Black Lotus Society. They have a cool stronghold, which is a pagoda in the middle of a poison swamp, and that's what you get. You get to be the hider to the Black Lotus Society, and you get 8 poisonous rivers that come out from you. And with with these powers, you lose your physical body and you can create a tulpa, which is like a magical glowy fake body, on the throne, wherever that is. So you can, like, in the lotus position, just create this body for yourself, like just meditating there. And if your body gets killed, you can do that again. So you're kind of immortal. But if all of the landscape gets destroyed by something, and that's super possible in this game, that can kill you. So you're more immortal, but not immortal with this. So that's a lot of fun. I should look at the chat. No one's talking to me. That's okay. This was kind of sudden. Womp womp. So much degeneracy. All right. So with these, you fight through cataclysms instead of just punching and kicking. You can still punch and kick through your tulpa, but your actual bodily form fights through cataclysms. So these are the things you can do. And usually, and I've forgotten exactly how you do this, usually you have cataclysm dice, and I've forgotten exactly how these techniques let you do that. There is an extraordinarily long keyword very early in this book. It's before Ravana, it's before all of this crap. Here we go. New rules. Keyword tulpa, keyword volatile, keyword transubstantiate. Okay, so here's transubstantiate. This is a keyword, and it is 4 pages long? No, 3 pages long. Okay. Expansion, acting through your world body, transmigration of the chakra and throne, manifesting your tulpa, growth and healing, geographic scale imbalances, technique requirements, thrones and shrines, health and integrity, temple body, needs, acts. Like, yeah, you can no longer act as a mortal being, but gain a new indirect ability to influence things that happen within your vicinity. Replace each of your effort dice with 2 cataclysm dice. The techniques provide a script of cataclysms which can be used to guide the character's new capacity to interact with the world. All of their natural actions must appeal to and be inspired by this list. So they're not airtight. They're just kind of inspired by it. You can speak through any part of your new body, no matter how far flung. This is deeply unsettling and is seen as proof of your divinity. I like that line. I'm glad I wrote that. So yeah, you can't do normal stuff. I actually revisit that too, because you become very, very big. Like, you can become as big as a tractor bigger. You can become a whole world, basically. So the problem with that is that people are not entire giant tracts of geography. We're normal people. So I made a rule where your, like, point of view as a player is like the seat of your consciousness, and it sort of floats around wherever you want to shine a spotlight. You can move it instantaneously, but you can only act directly there. And other parts of you, like, it's more like having, if your body's far enough away, it's basically identical to having, like, a kingdom that you can give indirect orders to, and you can instantly transport there and take direct command of things. So you've got to kind of shift your attention around a little bit. So that made this very useful, or very usable. I was also revisiting the Osheric brands earlier. You gotta eventually reread the stuff you've written and make sure it makes sense. Okay, so I like the idea of the Osheric brands. I'm gonna revisit all these and make sure they work with my current writing of the Ashura. I actually wrote these first to kind of, because I was grappling with the enormity of these beings and kind of like trying to figure out what they were about. And I think this helped a lot. So they're gonna feed back and forth into each other. Game design is iterative. But the thing about these is that they give you an imbalance based on how far into karmic debt you fall. The way you learn most Ashura techniques is you do a ritual and you beg the Ashura for more power, and they put you into karmic debt. It's the same thing as buying a technique, but instead of earning karma for it, you are just put into karmic debt. And the further you fall into karmic debt, the more powerful of a damned hero you become. And if you ever rise out of karmic debt, you sort of lose some aspects of your damned hero abilities, but you gain freedom from these things. And these are the things that screw with you, because the Ashura can make your imbalance manifest if you have any debt to them. The problem, though, is that the way these are dictated is that they usually use your ferocity first, and they can only really mess with your corrupted chakra and prana from your corrupted chakra. They seize your access to your magic or to their magic, and they control your baser impulses. So that's kind of cool on paper, but in play, it's a lot more. There's a lot of fiddliness to that. So I'm a little worried about if that manifests in a way that's satisfying or if that's too fiddly. So I was thinking about that. I'm not going to mess with it yet. I want to play test it first, and then I'll mess with it afterwards. But I did want to point out that I thought about it. So there. I'm not thoughtless. Anyway, so I want to tell you guys all that stuff, because I'm really enjoying writing all these sexy snack boy charms. Or techniques. They're not charms, but they're charms. And yeah, next we're going to do a dragon, I suppose. A little blue dragon boy. A little dragon man. A frosty dragon man. But we're at a really fun part. Oh, I didn't tell you about the ultimate technique. Okay, so all the ultimate techniques are... You'll note there's no ultimate techniques in the core book. There used to be, but I renamed them supreme techniques. Well, I brought them back, and ultimate is the tier above supreme, because ultimate and supreme mean the same thing. So, the fun bit about that is that I could make these something that had a very different way of learning them. So one of the problems that I was having with the idea of ultimate techniques, and an ultimate technique is supposed to let you be the Ashura. You can straight up just be Godzilla for a while and just go rampaging. So that's really cool, but also it's a little bit like much. And I don't like the transactional aspect of being able to purchase this with karma. So, because that kind of makes it a commodity, and that doesn't really feel mythologically correct. So instead, the way you learn ultimate techniques is there's this giant ritual that you do. You have to already have all of these techniques and be a supreme master of this style. Then you can do something like some ritual thing that's huge. In the case of this one, you have to have addicted a culture of 100,000 beings to your whatever you're addicting them to. You have to change their societal value, so it's do as thou wilt is the whole of the law, which I stole from Aleister Crowley, and I love that, by the way. So utter depravity and anarchy. And by the way, I know enough about Crowley to know that he didn't necessarily mean it like that, but I don't care because that's how I mean it. So thanks, Aleister. I owe you one, buddy. And then you got to throw a huge party with sex, drugs, and rock and roll that costs 100,000 wealth. And at the apex of the orgy, you've got to OD hardcore on some indulgence, whatever it is, that would kill you with a rank 10 endurance action. So that's... What could you survive with a rank 10 endurance action? I might increase or decrease this depending on how insane that is. Let's find out together. I don't actually remember. I wrote that blind. 10 just seemed like a good round number. So let's scoot over to the endurance chart. Okay, rank 10. Survive wading through molten lava or the cold vacuum of space. Prolong the energy output of a locomotive train for several months. Endure any disease, no matter how fatal. So you could have terminal cancer in a volcano while pulling an entire, train load of supplies and not die with rank 10. So that's some hellacious levels of self-indulgence right there. That's insane. But I like that, because you have to be really dedicated to overdosing. You've got to be on a whole nother level. You've got to be, taking, the crown of Poseidon and, snorting that, and then, try to seduce Zeus's lightning bolt. That's the kind of stuff that kills you at this level. It's mythologically overindulgent. And then, there's this billowing clouds of, poisonous perfume, and Yamada no Orochi's serpentine necks arise from that. So, also, I phrase this in the most sextful way that I could, because I'm really enjoying how slutty Yamada no Orochi wound up. I didn't mean for the only girl to be a total hose beast, but she's the queen of Sen. What do you want? Okay, so now we actually get to write Yamada no Orochi, and this is the part I wanted to bring you guys on my journey with. Let's see. There we go. Let me make sure. There we are. That's good. Okay, so, because I've not yet shown you what it's like to write one of these guys, and it's a little weird, because there are titans in the core book, and these are analogous to those, but much bigger and scarier. And I didn't pull any punches with the Titans in the core book. They can end the world. So these guys are even more world-endery than these dudes. However, they don't all necessarily end the world. For example, Daido Barochi, the jungle god, can heal the world. He's like the what was it, the forest walker or whatever from Princess Mononoke, where like he's huge and godlike and powerful, but he's also kind of part of the natural order. So that's not necessarily a bad thing. So if you want to fight him, that's really dangerous and horrifying. But, you know, you don't have to. You don't have to oppose the forces of nature. You can just let him chill. And Smiley Boy's another one where I did two versions of him because he's based on Akira from Akira. And if you're a big Akira fan, and I am, you know that there's two versions of what happens when Akira shows up. Because at the end of the movie, and everyone's seen the movie, at the end of the movie, they crack open his giant, like, stadium-sized frost container, and in the center of it, there's his remains, and it's just like a bunch of tubes filled with, like, his spinal fluid and nerve systems, and there's almost nothing left of this kid, right? They experimented on him until he was just fragments. But there's still something alive about them, and like there's some sort of presence there. And so all of his friends like get closer to him, and they're all, at this point they're all old and they're like withered from the drugs they've got them on, and they kind of like bow and pray to him to kind of like commune with him. And there's something sort of subtle and sweet about that, and this collection of those things creates this sort of like eucatastrophus, a nuclear anti-bomb that like it destroys the city, but it also doesn't, like, it's discriminatory in who it kills and who it spares, and it saves a bunch of people and kills those that, like, that kind of, like, were instrumental in bringing about, like, horrible things in the world. So it's a eucatastrophe. It's actually kind of a good thing in net. It's just extremely powerful and destructive. So that's one version. But if you read the manga, when they open up the Frost Tomb, Akira is in it and just wanders out, and he's just this little kid who's also like this horrifying monster god. And instead of being like kind at his core and like wanting to commune with his friends and being the usher in of this anti-nuclear holocaust, he is a monstrous like child god of absolute perversion and evil. So he's like unbelievably powerful and like he's an evil god is what he is, and it's not a good time. I think they managed to beat him, but it's pretty gruesome. So you have two very different versions of the same character, and of course I put them both in the core book. But in the one case, you just have him as a generally good thing, right? You don't have to fight this kid. He's a good guy. Because he's just transcendent sagely remains is what I call it. So that's nifty, you know. That gives you something neat you can put in your games. So another one of the bad guys, which is actually a descendant of Yamato no Orochi, in my mythology, not in actual mythology. In actual mythology, they're unrelated, but in my mythology, it's Zhanglu, which is a 9-headed leech god of poison. So another poison god. This one is very self-indulgent and evil. But he doesn't have, I think mostly he's just poison. I don't think, he's got acid, he's got poison. Let's see. Acid, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, so he's very quiet and sneaky despite being a giant monster, because he's a big multi-headed leech demon. He's like a demon king. So he doesn't have the same kind of Godzilla energy. He like wants stuff and is stuff. So he's a little closer to like if Jabba the Hutt was almost on the scale of Godzilla. Like that's where Zhanglu is. And that's kind of where I want Yamato no Orochi too. The thing about Zhanglu is he's almost like a storm cloud, because when he shows up, his big move is black rain, and he just shoots all of his venom in the sky and it rains down and kills everybody. Like that's his big thing that he does. And I sort of want Yamato no Orochi to do that too. Also, he's got a bunch of different heads, and so does Yamato no Orochi, so that works out great. So we're going to, let's see here, where's all my stuff? Nope, I think it's this one. We should be able, let's see, yeah, here we go. Lone Wolf for this print version 1.2.2. Do I want the print version? Sure. We'll do the print version. Oh, this is the actual fixed print version, I believe. Actually, I need to go through here and make sure the print version that y'all is getting doesn't have any weird artifacts. I don't think it does. I'm pretty sure all these are... Yeah, so those, you can see, I talked about this last week, that these were all fixed. This is blurry in my copy, because I gave away my good copy. I shouldn't have did that, but whatever. I could just order it again. You know, I get it at cost, so it's not that expensive for me. It is expensive to get it over here, but, you know, whatever. Oh, what was I doing just now? Oh yeah, all the dharmas. Oh man, I should make some dharmas for all the demon kings. That would be a maybe good idea. I don't know. I don't feel like they want you to gain karma, though. So, I'm not really sure what to do with that. Let's see. Here we go. So, if we squeeze on down, we can actually see. And there's Smiley Boy. I was just talking about him. And there's Shanglu. So, okay. So, right away, you can get an idea for the scope and power of this mighty monster. And let's... Yeah, here we go. We're just going to Oh, he's actually got 9 heads. Wow. Does Jacques actually have 9 heads in myth? Is that a thing? I don't need the calculator. I just wanted to open this. Let's find out together. Boop. Yeah, there he is. Yep. 9-headed snake monster. Look at that absolute unit of a mythological monster. I love him. He's great. Okay, cool. My friends are all my rowdy friends. Yep. Thank you. Yeah. Most depictions are very Hydra-like. I really like the ones where it's just like a bunch of heads in like kind of like a row. There's something just weird about that, and I love it. A bunch of snakes isn't that interesting, but like this is interesting. That's got something going on there. Yeah, and this is my favorite version of Zhonglu. I give him long, slender necks, but it's this. It's all these freaky, weird faces. I also made him more leech and less snake. I think he's pretty snaky in most of these. Yeah, 9-headed snake monster. There we go. So he's a snake. But I liked leech better. I wanted to do... Okay, this is a pretty cool compromise, too. Like, he's got, like, the skull heads. That's rad. Oh, man. Some of these are just great. Like, look at that. That's fantastic. I need to commission art of this dude. I need just to commission more art in general. Maybe I'll take all the monsters and make like a monster manual out of them and just commission art for that, just kickstart that at some point. I probably should have. Man, they love this, where they've got like the square made of heads. That's surprisingly commonplace. One would think that that wouldn't be such a popular organization, but that's pretty common. Oh my god, these are so good. Chinese myth is great, dude. I just wanted to point that out. I love Chinese myth. Okay, so we're going to squeeze back over here. So now we've got some stuff to use. Let's bring this back. Boop. One of y'all is going to chat at me, and I'm going to be so happy. Okay, so can I... Let me do this. I'm just going to Control-V it here. Yeah, that's what I suspected. Okay, so these are all 9, and this should be 12. Let's just change this to 12. Is that enough to fix it? That's not terrible. It is weird that he has more heads than his mom, but, you know, whatever. I guess you can have a few more heads. Okay, so first of all, these things have way more Cataclysm dice. So I'm going to give this guy, I'm going to give her 45 dice. These are all pretty good. However, this is a little destructive, and I want Yamato no Orochi to have a Storm Cloud energy and a soporific, like, poison kind of energy. So this is going to have to get changed. Yeah, nausea, illness. Most of these are fine. Shockwaves of despair. I'm gonna kill that one. I don't think she's a big despair guy. Candlelistic berserkers. We can kill that one too. I don't like that one. Cut that out. Just nah. Those are good for the poison. We're also gonna make this way bigger. She's 2 fields big. She's way big. She's also way more armored too. I think it's gonna be hard to get through her stuff. She has 7 heads, and they are gonna have at least 40 hit points each. They're gonna be very hard to kill. I think that her overall resilience should be pretty similar to Chang-Chi here. Where did I put Chang-Chi's stuff? So yeah, he has armor 7, health 40. We're gonna boop. That's pretty good. Oh, I made him much smaller than I thought. Goodness. He's a little one. I might make him a little chunkier. Although he part of his thing is hiding, so I might not. I haven't yet to decide. Here we go. Da-na-na-na. Na-na-na-na. I should probably make these a little weaker then. Let's make them 25. Yeah, there we go. So there's the onslaught and calamity. Oh, I like that he has to go away and sleep. He has to have a sleepy time. We can probably just change the duration overall to like 1 scene. Yamata no Orochi spreads her poison. Spreads her addictive poisons. There we go. And corrodes the world's virtue for the length of an action scene. She must then slink back into the perfumed pits of hell for an extended refractory period of at least 1 arc. I'm going to hell. So that's good. That'll work. That'll work with duration there. I feel like this is bold, that's bold. This looks bigger than that, but I think they're the same. I think that if I did this, this would be identical. Yeah, that's what I thought. Okay, so that's all good. So we're just gonna boop, and we're gonna, let me see, I don't want to boop this. What I want to do is grab these, boop, boop, and I also want to grab some more from the core book. The benefit of having created so much in the core book is that it's pretty easy to just grab this stuff and take the stuff that works and give it to the monsters that I have. So let's see, I got a cold one. We're definitely going to give Ritra all this stuff. Let's see, this is more corrosive. We want something that messes with people. I really like Nightmare Carnival, by the way, since its cataclysms are all like, yeah, driving people crazy. That's really fun. Oh my god, Nightmare Carnival's great. Let's see, Ash Typhoon, it's kind of dry. Sandstorm's kind of dry. Do we have any wet ones? We've got the Fog of Lost Souls. This is more ghostly, though, so I'm not worried about that. This one messes with people, so it's good. Let's see. I can go Spore Mad. I could probably do a version of this where they're, like, getting addicted to stuff, but, like, I don't think I need to really worry about that much. across the field to avoid contracting. Okay, so I'm going to retool this for addiction. I don't know that summoning addicted monsters works. This will work. This will work fine, so we're going to use that. Yeah, that'll work. Do we have anything wet? I think I have Leviathan. Yeah, so let's look at the cataclysms there. Riptides, tsunamis, whirlpools. I really like that idea. This guy does a lot of cool stuff too. Bolts of lightning. I sort of want to combine these two to give like a storm energy to Yamada no Orochi. Because it's clear that Yamada no Orochi is supposed to be like a typhoon, right? Like, there's something going on with good old Yamata no Orochi with that. Nobody talking to me today. I'm so lonely. Nobody like me. Yep, nobody like me. That's okay though. You don't have to like me. I like me. Alright, so let's see. Whew. This clicks the surface is like a mucousy leech. Ew. That's fun. Okay. So, scope to fields. Armor. I did 10. Is that high? I need to benchmark that. How high is too high? So you have armor 10, Leviathan. Julong only has armor 7. So you probably have less armor than Leviathan. He's almost indestructible. Barakala has 8 from his tough skin. The Mad Simiug has 6 because he's fiery feathers. Daido Barochi has 8. Zhanglu has 8. I'll probably do 8 as well. I think I'll go with 8 here. In terms of fleshy stuff, what fleshy bad guys do I have? I think, yeah, so, okay, so, Shooting Doji is 9, right? And he's just flesh, but he's very tough flesh. And I think I gave 10, oh goodness, did I? What did I give 10 to? Yama's only armor 7. He's pretty lightly armored, so he's pretty easy to whack. But he's also just kind of like a dude, so there is that. Ravana has 10 because he's got the armor. That makes sense. He's made of metal and such. Vritra's probably gonna have 10 because he like that's his big thing, is just being tough as a mother. He's probably 7. Yeah, so 8. 8's pretty good. I'm gonna go with 8. I don't think he's as tough as Shooting Doji. Or I don't think she's as tough as Shooting Doji. I think she's a little softer. So we're going to go with armor, 8. And then, I think, what was it, health 45? No, 40, yeah, health 40, that works. So, Cataclysm 45, and then we have Onslaught. And, where's the Onslaught at? Oh, yeah, it's going to be these guys. Okay. So we need to add some more to this. So let's get the Spore Mad stuff right here. And we're gonna make that 12. There we go. Alright. And this is actually a spiritual imbalance. There we go. And a drift of, I'm going to go with Soporific Vapor. I'm going to go with Rolls Across. That is not how you spell Soporific. There we go. That's good. So that's pretty good. Now we've got Waves of Nausea and Illness. I skipped to Clouds of Caustic Vapor. I like that one. So we have poison, caustic. This should be pink. Is fuchsia pink? I have no idea what color fuchsia is. Let's look it up. How do you spell fuchsia? Is it fusca? Nope. Fuchsia? The heck? Yeah, there it is, fuchsia. Okay, it's a plant. Color? Yeah, between pink and purple. So that's definitely what we want to do, fuchsia. Fuchsia. Well, that's definitely how you spell that. Fuchsia. Clouds of burning fuchsia gas. Water putrefying into poison. Rains of black blinding ichor. I can live without that one. I like just normal rain. Structures and terrain corroding and toppling. The world tarnishing is blackening. So cancerous. Boop. We don't need all of those. So that's enough for poison. So we're going to start with poison, and then we're going to storm, and then we're going to end with drugs. So that's drugs. So which bits of this do I want to steal? Let's see here. Fog. Wow. Jean-Glou. Zhulong. I want this. Howling winds, storms of hail. There we go. I can live without that stuff. Let's just steal this stuff right here. That's good. We're just gonna yoink, and we're gonna combine all those in a nice new way. Pop. And this is 12. Boop, boop, boop. Alright, sheets of rain and sleet. No, just sleet, just sheets of rain. Let's go with sheets of driving rain. No, we can live without storms of hail. She's not a very cold storm. She is a warm storm. Bolts of lightning. Glass exploding, structures and terrain. I can live with the glass exploding. I think you get the idea. Structures and terrain. Don't like toys. There's stress. Yeah, there we go. Okay, so now we've got all three of them. We've got poison, we've got storm, and we've got drugs. So that's really good. That means you have a wide variety of stuff that you can do whenever you become Yamada no Orochi. And you are a big storm of sinful, sinful sin. So, anatomy, 7 heads, 25 each. Zip. We don't need that. Yeah. Doot. Okay. So, now we just need the onslaught and calamities. You can do a lot with onslaught when it comes to these Ashura. Oh goodness. Excuse me. It's so exciting to watch me do this stuff. But you can do a lot with these guys. I think Ravana has like 10 different things he does because he has got 10 arms. But they all have a lot they can do. Let's see here. Chang-Chi gets D10s, I think. He can get a lot of stuff. What about shooting Doji? Alright, what's your onslaught look like, buddy? Oh, did I not write it down as an onslaught? Yeah, here we go. Well, that needs to get fixed now, doesn't it? Yeah, and then calamities. So, onslaught. Boop, 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 boop. Okay, so this is his onslaught. So he's got 2 big legs, 2 big arms. So that's not too bad. He just goes smooshity, smooshity, smash. Yeah, 1 with each. So really, he's not super, super duper destructive. And the next set only gets to puke once per round. So that's actually not too shabby. That's okay. With this one, I think all the heads get to do something. I think that's how I did Jianglu as well. So let's look real quick. Alright, so there's Yamada no Orochi. And you want her to be at least as powerful as Jianglu. So, Poison Stream, yeah, so this is what Jianglu does. This is his thing, is the Poison Stream. He's got 9 heads around. So he spits a stream of liquid poison with the strength of a fire hose. It's a rank 6 pushing hazard. Anything touched by his crows through a rank 6 acid hazard. So it pushes you around and it burns you at rank 6. That's not like overwhelming, but he gets lots of those, right? He gets 9. So I'm only gonna get 7 of those. I feel like the poisonous bite should be the thing. I'm pretty sure, I'm not 100%, but I'm pretty sure I did 8 Divine Venoms. Let me see. If I did, I think Yamada no Orochi should lay claim to being able to summon each one of them. Or at least some of them. Let me look real quick. Because that's one of the, like the ninja power, the ultimate move is you just get to have all these Divine Venoms. Yeah, God of Venoms. So let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. No, there's only 7. One for each of the different things. But you know, the ultimate one could be her most powerful venom, so that works really good, I think. So I could make each one of the heads associated with a chakra aside from like the core head, which is the one that gets her venom. So that's really cool. That means each one of these guys gets to have a different kind of poison it can do. So let me see. Let's see what these do. Outer Darkness Venom makes it so you can't accumulate karma anymore. Demiurge Bile. Your indulgence can't go higher than rank 0. Dying Dragon. You can't heal or generate prana from chakra, so that's, wow, that's crippling. That's really horrifying. Blood to Stone. Yeah, agility 0. If you cease moving for more than an hour, you turn into stone until the poison is extracted. Rakshas's Shadow turns you into a ghost. Dragon Turtle Barb turns you into a monster. And Tiger Cannibal Froth forces you to eat raw human flesh. Fresh human flesh. Ooh, that's even worse. To draw any of your sustenance. So that's all pretty great. Yeah, those are all pretty wonderful. Yeah, the Divine Venoms are Virulence 12 and last until cured. A character may be poisoned by one of these 12 terrible ones at a time. They cancel one another out due to their elementally opposed nature. That's really spiffy. I don't know. Like, it's an easy thing to do to say that each one of these things has its own venom. Ooh, goodness gracious. I don't know. That might be too much. That might be too much to keep track of in a single fight. You're really only supposed to use one of these venoms at a time because it's really expensive to get them. Yeah, you evoke the 7 divine venoms from your own chakra, infusing your body, weapons, and soul with their insidious energy. For every awakened chakra, you may produce a distinct type of divine venom. Once per turn, you may imbue any bodily fluid with one of these poisons or infuse it into a held weapon. You are also totally immune to lesser poisons. Your soul is the standard against which poison is judged. Wow, I'm so glad I wrote that. You can reproduce any poison that you've ingested. In addition to reproducing these poisons, you may produce their antidotes, both temporary and permanent. I actually put the thing about antidotes in here. That's cool. The divine venoms are virulence 12 and less, so cured a character may be poisoned by one of these 12 terrible ones at a time. They cancel one another out. So... the thing about this is, it's an envenom keyword, and it's not clear if you have to spend the cost on it. I think you actually just get these forever, and you can just use them as you wilt. So that's kind of mean. If I redo this style, I will probably put cost next to each one of them. To clarify what's going on with that. Because, like, for me, it's pretty clear that because the cost and rank are in parentheses, that's whenever you use this for senses, which makes you a sneaky, sneaky, sneaky boy. Um, but I don't actually have. Let me see. I don't know if there's another thing that has Envenom in it anywhere. Is this my only Envenom power? Really? That feels. I feel like I should have more. Well, it might be the sole Envenom in the core book. Now I'm kind of curious. If I look up the phrase or the term Envenom in here, how many instances do I have? Also, does this work? Or am I just wasting my time here? Okay, it really should not take this long. There we go. Okay, so there's the description of the term Envenom. There's the page I'm on in God of Venoms. There's a use of the term envenomed. Here we go. The Manticore can envenom a strike per round. Yep, that's the only technique in the whole book with that keyword. That keyword was not necessary. That was an absolute waste of a keyword. Wow. Goodness gracious. Okay. So, well, I think that's enough for this stream. You kind of get the direction this is going to go. I'm going to do... Actually, you should have 8 heads, not 7. Boop. I'm going to keep Death's Approach, I think. I like the idea of Yamada no Orochi being, like, sneaky. Vengeful God's Embrace I might do as well, or something along those lines, so she can squeeze you. With her superpower, I gotta figure out what I want her big calamity to be that she unleashes before she dies. Like, or before, not before she dies, but before she gets completely exhausted. So, that, oh man. I kind of feel like she ought to, like, emit something that addicts everyone to some really weird demon drug. So, basically this, but with a demon drug. So we're going to go ahead and kill those. All of this, since we're going to work on it, we're just going to boop, and then we'll update that later and do the onslaughts and calamities. But yeah, that's going to be Yamada no Orochi, Queen of Sin. You can kind of see what I do here. Like, I find an analogous Titan, beef up its stats considerably, and then theme it around what the Ashura is supposed to be about. So that's going to take a little more digging and work before it's done, but I think that's pretty good for tonight, folks. I had... Oh, hey, how's it going? I had a lot of fun. I've actually got to finish this up and then get some sleep, because I've got work tomorrow. But it's been real, so thanks for hanging out with me on this stream, and I'll talk to you next time. Arrivederci.